Hi, my friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com here with your weekly horoscope for the last week of Aries season from the 15th to around the 21st of April 2019. And it is exactly right now. My solar return, it's on the 14th, but I'm recording on the 13th. But this year, it's coming a day before when the sun returns exactly at the same degree when I was born. And I was thinking, what better time and place than to be with my loved ones and on YouTube, because whatever you do exactly on your solar return, that how you get to experience more of it in the coming year. So I'm like, okay, I want to experience more of that. I want to be more live. I want to spend more time with you. I want to bring out more knowledge. So here we go. Hopefully that will be an inspired reading. And I'm going to focus on the full moon in Libra for each of the 12 signs, because this is the pivotal event of next week, the last week of Aries season. And it's very exceptional and a rare full moon in Libra. Why is that? Because we had two full moon in Libras. Usually there is always one full moon in one sign, one moon in the opposite sign, and then it moves to the next sign. But this is very rare. It's almost like the universe decided to give us longer time to work on certain issues. Because what is a full moon? Full moon is when the moon and the sun are opposite each other, and the moon looks like a sun in the sky. It's so bright that you can even see a shadow, your shadow. So it illuminates. A full moon illuminates an area of your life where there was darkness, or area of your life, because it's a night luminary. So when we have a full moon, like a spotlight is put at a certain area of your life and the rest around it is dark. But if and you kind of understand something intuitively, because the moon is very emotional, it's a female planet, so it works with feelings, it works on an internal level with the soul. So we're going to be having some deep realizations and deep understandings uh, on an emotional level, and not rational. It's not in the head. And actually, the deepest changes happen on an emotional level. They have to happen emotionally, not rationally. Um, and it's like this was this rare time that within the same season, Aries seasons, we had two full moons in Libra. One was on the 20th, the start of the year exactly, on the powerful full moon in Libra, the 0 degrees in Libra. And this one is at the 29th, last degree in Libra. And it's almost like the start of an end of a cycle. The 0 degrees, new beginnings; 29 degrees, endings and completions and realizations. So this full moon is going to put a spotlight, illuminate, and give us some answers to questions we've been having, that we've been in the dark, and that it's the high time. There is no more postponing there, because it's the last degree of Libra. It's the last. It's basically we've matured enough. We've gathered enough wisdom to be able to understand this, to have this deep realization, to have this deep intuitive understanding and change of feelings, of fulfillment of feelings. And this new moon in Libra is quite interesting as well, because it's opposed Uranus. And what does it mean? And Uranus is conjunct the sun. It's in another sign, but very, very close together, opposite. There will be sudden emotional realizations, sudden, very sudden developments that happen in the week preceding and the next week after that, the full moon, because it affects us for the next 2 weeks after that. We're going to speak about each of the 12 signs, how this full moon will affect you. Just to remind you guys, me and Victor on the 17th, I'm making, Victor is leading it, 10-week, 10-module course, webinar on predictive astrology using ancient and classical techniques made easy. I'm still giving it for 40% off, for $299, and you can pay in installments if you can afford it all in one go. So till the 17th. After the 17th, it goes to its normal price, $499. So yes, I think that was the price. So just check it out. But let's focus on this full moon again. So we had two full moons in Libra, almost like we had the need for much longer time, almost like a whole month, to look at those, a month and a half actually, to look, because full moon is active for till the next full moon, and because we have two full moons in Libra, so 2 months under the influence of Libra emotionally in our life. And Libra is about balance. So it's something is fundamentally out of balance with us. If the universe is giving us And the cosmos is giving us 2 months to rebalance something and to have deep intuitive realizations about what is out of balance. Obviously, we need to fix something. And obviously, we can do something much more we can rebalance it in a much deeper and profound way. If we had just one full moon, okay, you kind of feel those deep feelings for a couple of weeks or some time, and then you move on. But it's like we're being told you have to work deeper. You have to realize deeper things that are out of balance in your life. But this time, things are going to happen very fast. They're going to move very fast because of the Uranus opposition. Uranus gives us sudden realizations. Uranus gives us sudden, and because the full moon is emotional, it's you feel it with your feelings. You're going to have sudden change of feelings in regards to, or sudden, like Uranus can enlighten you suddenly. And it might be out of the blue that you switch your perspective. Maybe you've been seeing a matter just from your own perspective, but Libra is about seeing something from both ends of the coins. And Uranus being involved there, the planet of sudden changes, can really flip you to see the point of view of another person, the point of view of another situation, to see a problem you've been having from a different perspective, from another angle. Uh, and you'll be asked to make some sudden compromises, or maybe you ask someone to make sudden compromises of some sort. But definitely relationships are in the spotlight, and the need to see what is out of balance. Are you giving too much to someone, or are you taking too much from someone or from something? It's not only personal relationships, it's business relationships, it's collaborations at work with colleagues, it's people that you're business partners with, people that you are your clients, anyone that you have a relationship with. It can be also a relationship, say if it's in your second house with food, or relationship with pets if it's in your sixth house. So for every person, it's depending on their sun, moon, or ascendant, something else in their life is out of balance, that you have sudden realizations how to fix it, sudden intuitive understanding on a deep level how to change things. And you're not going to stay this time. It's because Uranus is involved. You're going to feel what is fundamentally out of whack, out of balance. And some of you might even lash out, might go and, as they say, throw out the baby with the water. Suddenly, they just are not going to take anymore, because Uranus is very willful planet. It's almost like suddenly you flip, you realize, okay, I've had enough. Say, your boss or your coworker has always been that you're equal at work, you're supposed to do equal work, but they are always taking more. They're always giving you more work, and they're taking more of the acknowledgments for what you're both doing. And it's been happening for some time. Maybe you've been noticing for some time already, but you just didn't say anything because we had a previous Libra moon. Or maybe you're seeing that the relationship is not balanced, but you've just been biding your time, but now you can't anymore. Something happens, you become overly emotional with this full moon in Libra, and you react emotionally and suddenly, and you're not looking back, you're snapping. You're willing to take very reactive, radical actions. Uranus is radical. I'm snapping that branch. I'm no longer tolerating this inequality. I'm no longer tolerating this unfairness, this out of balance situation, and I'm gonna act out, because Uranus is opposite, and actually someone else will spur you into that. You might feel like very emotionally provoked. The full moon is emotionally provoked about something that is unfair, unbalanced, to take some radical actions, I would say. And that means that you might cut off, in coming in the next 2 weeks, relationships, personal, business, or contracts, or agreements, or negotiations that are unfair, that are unbalanced. They can suddenly flip, or maybe the power in relationships can suddenly change, or a partner, business, personal, professional, whatever, someone that you collaborate with, can suddenly surprise you with unexpected actions, and that will bring out very strong emotional reaction in you. And if you have such provocations from others, this is because something has to be, either you are not balanced, or you are allowing something imbalanced to happen to you. Doesn't matter which side on the coin you are, something is out of whack there. And by the way, who is going to feel those transits the most? who is going to feel this full moon the most? I'm going to share with you. You can go to you need to check your personal transits. And of course, by now, probably all of you know that we have this free transit calendar. You can go to astrolada.com, go to the transit calendar, I'll put a link for it. Log in or register if you don't have account. This is my profile here. Very quickly showing it's of a client, not mine, but so you have to see from those days here, and it opens for 7 days only. For those of you who are not unlocked it for longer than 7 days, it's for free. Every 7 days ahead is free, and you have to check if you have anything, you know, any sun transits around the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21st of April. Those days around the lunar full moon. And the sun transits are indicated in yellow. So if you see any yellow transits here, almost missing them, almost still will be felt, because there are sun transits here in these horoscopes, but they're not, they're 2 days before the full moon, but still they'll be felt. But if you have around 17, 18, 19, 20, 21st sun transits, wow, this lunar eclipse, this full moon in Libra definitely affects you. You feel the urge to balance some situation, to take radical changes, to have to negotiate something, and you'll be so emotionally invested in this whole process. Because something has come to the end of the rope. Is the 29 degree, the final degree of Libra. It can no longer continue this way. And full moons are about completions, realizations. And another thing that can happen is not necessarily breakup of relationships or fighting with people and things like that, or being dissatisfied. It's been brewing up. Any such feelings there, they can explode suddenly, but you've been thinking about them. There was another full moon. But now it's like a peak time, culmination time. And if you have sun transits personally in your transit calendar, like I showed you, okay, you're feeling it. But also, this full moon can bring realizations, intuitive understanding, and full moons are considered auspicious things in ancient astrology, because the moon is very fertile, it's full, it's ready, it's kind of it's giving big results, like a harvest. So you can see very sudden results in regards to something that you've been building before. And interestingly is that those results can be kind of surprising, and they can come very fast, and they might not be exactly what you expected because Uranus is involved. But the full moon in Libra is happening in a constellation, the 27 lunar mansions or constellations, like the nakshatras, like the Vedic call them, which is has the nature, the main star of it is Chitra, and it's translated as the jewel. So it's the full moon illuminates this lunar mansion, this constellation, which is about creating something beautiful, which is also about it's the constellation of designers, architects, people that build beautiful things, that whether it's business or artistic, these are people that whatever they do it perfectly. Oh, this is energy of perfection of the outer form, perfection of the physical form. So there'll be a lot of influence and a lot of focus on the material side of life in the next few weeks, but in such a sense that to complete, so a lot of you, especially if the full moon activates your horoscope, like we said, if it shows there with transits of the sun, you will definitely notice why transits of the sun, because the sun and the moon are opposite each other. So if the sun triggers something in your horoscope, the full moon will also trigger it. But some of you will be able to complete some beautiful projects. Some of you will be able to have a culmination connected to something connected to design, to beauty, to art, to even to physical appearance and perfection, to perfect the physical appearance, to perfect the beauty of something. So this is what it's going to be good for. The time coming up to the full moon, the time of the full moon is as well, and even the 2 weeks after that. But the most focus for everyone is about negotiating, is about suddenly, having sudden deep realizations in regards to your relationships, in regards to matters that are out of balance in your life, and taking radical actions, and even using kind of very alternative methods, because Uranus is planet connected also to suddenly flip the mind, but it affects the moon. So it's the flipping of the mind affects the flipping of the feelings. So the feelings first flip and they change your whole state of mind about something. And by the way, because this full moon is going to be active the whole month after that, so we're over the whole influence of the full moon in Libra. Natalia is making like a 3 weeks in advance a marathon on rapid transformational therapy and reprogramming of the mind connected to sex, to love, and to money and abundance. And these are all things, if you don't have balance in them, it's fantastic astrological time to, if you can't afford those courses, to go and read online about, to read books, because those courses, even though there is a discount for the 3 courses, come to 400 and something dollars together, but with the discount they're 240, I think. Sorry, I forget prices always. So there is a big discount if you get the 3 courses. But if you can't afford that, guys, just read about girls, especially girls. This is a girl channel most of the time. We're at 80%. um, Read something about how to balance your resource, how to have a more you have certain realizations as I had, and you can suddenly flip something for anything Libra related, relationships, give and take, give and receive, fairness, because Libra, the nakshatra chitra rules abundance, rules, it's a diamond. Its symbol is a diamond. So it's about also having the luxuries of life and the outer manifestation of spirit in the material. So it's the perfected form of something. So it's about your femininity as well. So all those topics Natalia is going to cover in those webinars, seminars, in the whole of May. You can check them out, because after that they become from $99 each to $145 in a few days. I have to check which then again. But now let's see quickly if for Aries this is happening in your 7th house. So it's like you're giving a second chance to flip something in regards to your relationship. Maybe something has been bothering you in regards to relationships. This is Aries, sun, moon, or ascendant. Check the 3 signs. They're all relevant at different levels. So if something was out of balance in regards to your relationships, because the full moon is there, maybe something has been bugging you already. Maybe your partner is not doing enough, your business partner, or some negotiation, or some agreement that you had with someone. This is the 7th house, negotiation, agreements, or maybe a client is not being fair, or maybe you're not being fair, and a client will come towards you and you say, you promised this, you're not delivering. So someone will bring to your attention suddenly and relentlessly that something is out of balance, and something in regards to relationship promises, or you might be the one that is aware of that and you want to make a sudden change. And that might be a time that some of you, especially if you're having sun transits, I showed you how to check and end relationships, and can have sudden realizations about important relationships in their life. Can end suddenly contracts, or can suddenly change certain sides of their relationships, of their contracts, of their agreements, of their relationships with clients and such. Okay, if you're Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, then the full moon is illuminating and putting its. And by the way, Aries also, it can mean the fulfillment of something that you're doing together with another person, and it can come suddenly, fast, and it can bring on. And another person can be quite surprising as well. But those culminations of relationships, it's like you're giving an answer about something that has been bothering you, that you can suddenly realize how to do. That's the good side. Or you can complete something that you've been doing in a partnership with someone, and see results about that. Okay, if you're Taurus, this full moon is illuminating the 6th house, giving you sudden answers about what is out of balance with your health, what is out of balance with your work. Are you working too much, not resting enough? Or the opposite, are you being too lazy because you're just wasting time uh, watching TV or Netflix or whatever, something is out of balance. There were 2 full moons in Libra, so we're asked to pay more attention there. And you're going to feel strongly, emotionally, you're going to feel something is out of balance. And you're going to realize it suddenly that You have to change something in regards to your health, and you're going to realize and even get answers what it is that you have to change in regards to your health. So then you'll be provoked to take actions in regards to that, or in regards to your work. And it can also indicate the completion of a work project, something you've been working on for some time that you're ending, finishing. But it can also indicate that the results of some project you've been working at work might be quite sudden, unexpected, and especially your daily routines, which is the sixth house, can be a bit disruptive, surprising. So this week they'll be full of surprises. You plan to do one thing, something else comes. And it's if you're warned about that, even in the chaos, you'll be able to find a way to balance things out. But definitely you'll realize something in regards to health, in regards to your work, or in regards to debt. Sixth house rules debt. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to pronounce debt. So you have an opportunity even to rebalance a debt, an existing debt in some way, or to suddenly flip it around. Okay. And also sixth house is your enemies. So you might have a situation that's been coming out of balance with someone like competitor, an enemy, someone who kind of you have a head-to-head unbalanced relationship with, that you can suddenly flip and see the side of the coin, or this whole situation with them, with someone who's vexing you, can flip around. But sixth house is also your employees and people that you work for you. Is there imbalance there? Are they doing too much, or are you asking too much from them? Is something unbalanced in the relationship with them? Are they promising things they're not delivering? Because Libra is a sign of promises. So something that is out of balance, it will annoy you, might react quite emotionally about it, but you can flip it fast, and you can change the whole situation. Um, and at the same time, it can mean the completion of a projects with workmates and stuff like that, because full moon is to complete. And to complete, especially something to work connected to physical, to beauty, to design, to art, because this is the Libra energy. All right. If you're Gemini, it's happening in your fifth house. You're being like a spotlight. And that's the second time it happens, the second month in a row, the spotlight on your love life. And you're going to feel very emotional about it. You can flip suddenly something and change something, have sudden realizations due to Uranus on a deep intuitive level in regards to your love life, what it is that you need in your love life. Have you not spoken about your needs? Have you been suppressing? Have you been expressing your needs in your love life, or not expressing them in a balanced way? Maybe you're not fairly receiving the love that you require, or the romance. Maybe there is imbalance. Maybe you're working too much and not enjoying yourself. Fifth house, enjoyment, having fun, entertainment, hobbies, the things that make you glow, the things that make you happy to be alive, the things that inspire you. Our lovers, maybe you have not had enough sex, or maybe you've not had enough dates because you've had too many responsibilities with, social responsibilities or whatever. And the spotlight will be put on this love life, on this fun life, on this, it's time for you to let your hair down, or if you've been doing the opposite, partying too much, or out of balance in your love life, you've been allowing, you've been maybe just jumping around, dating all the time, and it's not done in a balanced way, in a harmonious way. It's not in a perfect way, because this constellation, as we said, Chitra, that it's happening, it's about perfection of the outer experiences. Well, you're going to realize something, either you're underdoing it or you're overdoing it. On another level, you can complete some creative project, especially if it's connected with something connected to beautiful, to perfect detail, to perfect design, because of the Chitra influence as well. And the final result can be quite surprising as well, because of the Uranus influence can suddenly come around, Um, but also in your relationship with children, you might realize if there's some imbalance, or if there is something that needs more of your emotional attention, or you're not, either the needs of your children were not, acknowledged equally, fairly, or there is some unfairness, either in a love relationship, or how love is expressed, or in your relationship with children. And you can suddenly change that, and you can suddenly have sudden awareness with this Uranus influence as well to change things. And it can even lead to having an emotional outburst with a loved one, a child or a lover, if you feel the situation has been too out of balance, and if it's been too unfair, and you can even break away certain connections with such people, especially if you're having any sun transits. Check again in your personal transit calendar. Then you'll definitely feel it. If you're Cancer, it's happening in your 4th house, the second month in a row, full moon in Libra, guys. Something in your home life, in your emotional life, needs attention. And have you been really in touch with your emotional needs? This is the 4th house. I know Cancers are usually quite connected to the emotional needs, but these 2 full moons, they're saying the spotlight has to be put on your emotional needs. And maybe you have not expressed them, or maybe you've been too needy. That's the other extreme. Something that is out of balance. Maybe you're not paying enough attention of what your needs are because you're satisfying others' needs or something else, because you're running and trying to satisfy the whole family or to please everyone around you, and you forget to take care of you emotionally, of your soul, and to express what it is you need. Libra is a sign of to communicate, to agree on something. If something is not balanced, to agree on a new way to do it. Or maybe, and you might burst out suddenly. You might start fighting, or like just say, enough, I've had enough. This is what my needs are. Your family is driving you. There's some out of balance situation in your family, with loved ones, or a situation regarding property or home, or parents. And this out of balance situation will have to be renegotiated now with this full moon. Otherwise, it can really escalate with the Uranus opposition, and there can be outbursts and fighting with loved ones and family, or even doing something sudden, like, because the full moon is at the last degree, so it's the last drop. It can no longer stay the same, and Uranus triggers you emotionally. So some big changes, like some of you, for you Cancers, can indicate sudden important developments, which changing place of living, relocating, things escalating in the family with a lot of an emotional undertone that requires sudden changes, and that require, because it's an opposition, require cooperation, collaboration, require some kind of compromise with your home life, with your family life, and with your career life as well. But things can suddenly escalate, but also it can indicate that you can complete some project connected to your home. Maybe in the last 2 months, there have been a lot of things happening around family, home, property, place of living, moving, so there'll be like a completion. There's like 2 more weeks that there's a lot of commotion, a lot of activity there, and you're changing things. Things are rapidly changing there with this Uranus influence, and you're trying to stay balanced, and you're trying to, if something is out of balance, to fix it as well. But again, it can indicate change of place of living, with relationships with family and home, having to agree on other terms and conditions with landlords or people that rent your places, or other terms and conditions connected to anything to do with property, with land, other terms and conditions at all in the relationship with family. Okay, if you're Leo, it's happening in your 3rd house, the full moon, and it's the second full moon in the 3rd house. Well, Leos, the spotlight is put on your communications, on your social activity. It's put on, there can be a lot of activity happening around anything to do with writing, with email, with reporting, and there can be a lot of sudden surprising events. And the developments happen very fast because Uranus is involved. And for example, if you do something with media, with writing, with speaking, anything with business administration, anything with commerce, with advertising, with marketing, these are all 3rd house activities. With social media, there can be a lot happening. Of course, there's a full moon. It gives completion of some projects, or being very busy there, being in the spotlight. So if you do anything like that, the spotlight is in you. You can shine there now. But at the same time, things are not, you always have to in the last moment compromise somehow, because Uranus is opposing that. And you always, like, whatever plans you have, for example, third house rules your schedules and plans. It rules your daily meetings, and usually this is when I take the bus to work. This is when I have my first meeting. This is when I post my video, whatever. This is my campaign is supposed to come out, or this project is supposed to come out. It gets very busy there, but something will keep surprising you. Might continue for a couple of weeks. So you have a plan, but always you have to be willing to compromise or to adjust in the last moment. So be flexible with those things, and also be flexible with arranging things with other people, because there'll be a lot of out of the unexpected situations there, and you have to be fast to react, so to speak. And there can be some surprises with travels, but this is good time to, because it's a full moon, completion, seeing results, arranging of anything to do with travel. And it's something that is not new. It's something that, and it might be some changes that you have to do there because of Uranus in the last moment. And you have to rush about arranging documents or travels or marketing campaigns or business administration and reports and all of those third house activities. Busy, busy, busy. And a lot of social communication around you and people connecting with you. But also, if something is out of balance, you're going to become quite aware, and you might realize that you're taking on too much and something is out of balance. So you might even have a moment where you snap and you're like, okay, enough. I have to change something, either with my daily routine or plans or communications. And even third house represents siblings, relatives, neighbors, co-workers, teammates, playmates, and even friends. If you realize that there is imbalance in a situation with people like that, things can flip very quickly. They can escalate emotionally very quickly. You can feel unfairness. You can feel like this is not right. And there can be some verbal altercations that are quite emotional. But thankfully, Libra is also a very compromising sign. So it might help you see the other perspective and reach an agreement, but there will be an escalation of, because something is out of balance with relatives, neighbors, and all those things. And something important might be happening in the life of such people around you as well, because the spotlight is put on them and your relationship with them. And some surprises can come from such people. All right, if you're Virgo, this is happening in your second house, the full moon. So it's again putting a big influence, a second month, a big focus, a second month in a row on your resources and finances. And because it's Libra, it's asking you, are you spending too much or are you being miserly? It's something, if something is out of balance, you become aware of it suddenly. It might be kind of like a rude awakening, because Uranus is not a gentle planet. It wants to awaken you fast and suddenly. So it can give you like sudden expenses, something connected to resources, assets, possessions, because something might be out of balance. Maybe you're not taking enough care of those things, or not enough consciousness or attention. And this full moon wants to put your consciousness, because when we put consciousness into something, we can make it work better. We can manifest it better. Or maybe you are putting too much attention on it and it's out of balance. Maybe you're thinking, all about your thinking is money. All you're thinking about is resources. All you're thinking about is food. Second house rules food. Maybe you're obsessing about food, or maybe you're forgetting to eat. That's another way, another manifestation. Maybe your relationship with food is out of balance. Maybe your relationship with material resources and money is out of balance. Maybe you're just seeing one side of the coin, and this Libra influence wants, with Uranus opposition, wants to suddenly awaken you to the other side of the coin and to rebalance it. And by the way, if you have any issues with money, check out the webinar Natalia is making on how to attract abundance in your life. It's fantastic training. She guarantees rapid results, and people usually start writing immediately within a few days that they're seeing changes, because she reprograms your mind around money and helps you see a different perspective. And that's very in line with this full moon. And it's for the next couple of weeks. I think this webinar is $99 only. All right, so that's for you, Libras. Also, you can complete some project connected to resources or finances that you've been working on, because full moon can also give completions, wrapping up something, and good results as well. Maybe surprising results. Maybe you have to rush because Uranus is involved, but it can give it over the next 2 weeks. And another thing is that because the full moon is in Chitra, the very beautiful constellation of the jewel, which indicates design, beautiful things. It can indicate also acquiring of something very beautiful, materially, financially, or it's like a possession, might be beautiful shoes, beautiful, some artistic. Second house is anything of value. Beautiful design dress, some beautiful piece of art, beautiful piece of jewelry, jewelry. Because the full moon can give us things. Yeah. All right, and it can come suddenly, even out of the blue from another, unexpected place. If you are Libra, of course, it's happening in your sign, Libra. Wow, you had 2 full moons, 2 months in a row. That's, as I say, it's a rare one. The spotlight has been on you, even though it's Aries season. And we think that when we're Aries, the world rotates around us when it's our season. Of course, for Aries, there are a lot of new beginnings, but for Libras, because there were 2 full moons in Libras from the 20th of March till now, and for the next 2 weeks, it's going to influence your whole month. Libras, you're also in the spotlight, but more in the night time because the moon illuminates you, more on an intuitive, emotional level. For Aries, because their month, the new moons bring like new beginnings. For you, brings culminations, Libra. So a lot of very important things are coming to an end or completing. And because the full moon is at the last degree in Libra, it's almost like a maturation process. Something has come at the end. So it can be finally released or completed or ended, wrapped up. And you can see the results now over the next few weeks. You can also very magnetic when there is a full moon. The moon is female in energy. The new moon is masculine in energy, but the full moon is female. So there is like attractive power to you those weeks, Libras. Whether it's Libra, sun, moon, or rising, you attract things to you. And usually the full moon, it indicates the good things of life, the things that nourish us. But also these full moons are saying that you in particular have to examine what is out of balance in your life. The first house, if it's your sun, might be your career or relationships with men. If it's your sun in Libra, is there something out of balance there, or in regards to your confidence, or in regards to your project? Are you giving too much or not doing too much? Or if it's your moon, your family life, your emotional needs, your emotional relationships, what is out of balance? It can really quickly escalate those things that are out of balance. And a lot of people, it's funny, when there is full moons in Libras, like everyone around me including, start like making assessment, and we feel it on a deep, like gut feeling, because it's the moon, it's not in your mind pros and cons, let me assess. No, it's like visceral. It's like, this is not fair, or this is not equal, this is not, Libra is like, it's like looking and it eats you up, because it's like a painting that is sitting like that in the middle of the room where all the paintings are sitting straight. So it's visceral inside. So a lot of us have been thinking, especially you Libras, and you've been paying attention, maybe even a partner brought it up to you because there is an opposition between sun and moon involved, of what is not fair or out of balance in your life. And this continues. But now you're just not just feeling and thinking about it and feeling, oh, it's unfair. Now you're taking radical actions because Uranus is involved. And actually someone else can provoke you because Uranus makes an opposition to this full moon in your sign. And to provoke you, maybe a partner might have had enough and pushes you into rebalancing something in your life, or pushes you to become equal in some way. So it's not just what is an equal or unbalance in your life, but it's kind of connected to other people as well, personal, business connections. But again, it can also mean that this is an important month where you're completing something, or where you're reevaluating, because full moons are always 6 months after the new moons in Libra. So something that you started in the last 6 months, you might be reevaluating it, some plans you've made or some actions, and you're like reevaluating what is worth keeping and what can be left, because Libra is concerned with, as the sign Venus rules it, is it fair? Am I putting enough energy? Am I getting back enough from it? So anything in your life, might be a business project, work, relationship in particular, because it's always, and others might provoke you. Others might say you're not putting enough into that. We have to change something here, that Uranus triggers you from other people. And other people might be acting out surprisingly, or kind of even, uh, you know, uh, very unstable, to provoke you to kind of balance this situation more, to put more consciousness into it. And this full moon will help you. And on the positive side, full moons is about completing things. So you can see a lot of good results. Like the full moon is like the bounty, you can receive the bounty of something you've been working on. And of course, if it's good bounty, you'd say, okay, things I've been doing them balanced, how can I do them even better, more balanced? I'll keep this is working well. But if the bounty you receive is kind of poor, that makes you reevaluate certain things, how to continue ahead. But usually full moons in your signs is always a time when you get recharged again with, not totally new ideas, but re-examine something, how you're doing it, and you start thinking, hoping to do it in a more fair and better way. And you kind of restart projects again after that, or you redesign something to make it better. And since it's in the constellation of Chitra, which is about perfect beauty, and design and art and building beautiful things. It might be for some of you that you're completing something of beauty, of perfection, of design of some sort. Okay, and if you're Scorpio, this full moon is illuminating your 12th house, Scorpios. So it's much more intuitive. You might not be, it's very close actually, early degree Scorpios that are born, on in the first 2-3 days of Scorpio. Would that be 22nd, 23rd, 24th of October? If you have ascendant or moon in the first 2-3 degrees, you would also feel this full moon as if it's happening in your sign. So the early born Scorpios, the spotlight will be on you as well, but it will be asking you to rebalance something in your life. And you can also receive some very positive, powerful results, because the full moons is to complete, to receive results, to be, to reap what you have sown. So they can be culmination and seeing the results of your efforts, and then deciding what is worth keeping and what you can restart in a better way. But for most Scorpios, they'll feel it really like being in the 12th house. So their intuition will be much more powerful. And there was another full moon in your 12th house, guys, girls and guys. So it's been a lot of 12th house is the house of expenses and what we give away. And Libra there asks us, because it's the full moon is in Libra, it puts focus, our consciousness is focused on what are we giving away too much, or out of balance, or are we giving away at all? Is there a balance? Because in order for us to receive, we have to give. And the 12th house is the house where we give without even expecting to receive back. The 12th house, we do it out of the charity, because because we want to contribute. So if something like that, if you have not been giving or receiving, if you've not been giving and helping, there might be a focus on that, and this can be brought to you. But more specifically, the 12th house is also the house of expenses. Are you spending too much? Is there something out of balance in regards to your, the spending, the 12th house, which is connected? So the spotlight might be put there for you to try and improve it, to put more consciousness, to see it from a different perspective as well. But the 12th house is also the house of releasing and letting go. And it's the house of what is no longer necessary in our life. So a lot of you might have sudden realizations, almost like a gut feeling on an intuitive level, of what it is that is no longer necessary in your life. And you might find yourself, Scorpios, like releasing suddenly, emotionally, because the moon is there, emotionally suddenly disconnecting. First, it will escalate because the full moon builds up and feelings escalate in the subconscious in regards to matters that we are attached to and addicted to, which we no longer need, which have outlived their necessary duration. And you can feel this building up, And then it can be like a breaking point around the full moon. And after that, you can just, after the full moon, can be fantastic time to release those things that are no longer necessary. It can be addictions, it can be attachments, it can be unhealthy spending habits. Because your 12th house is under the influence of Libra, your subconscious really strives to receive balance in this lifetime there, never to allow things to be out of whack. That's why Scorpio is such usually more advanced spiritual sign, because they always in the subconscious strive for their subconscious strives to have balance there. And anyway, I don't want to go too deep on that. And also, it can put a spotlight on some foreign travels. There might be the completion of something connected to foreign countries, faraway places. You can see the results in regards to that. They might be a bit surprising as well. Or if there's some trips abroad, they can be a bit full of surprises because the Uranus influence. But you know, um, and there can be also a lot of spotlight and a lot of activity happening around private matters, doing something behind the scenes, some private communications and relationships, because Libra is a sign of relationship. 12th house is private secret, might be private secret negotiations or agreements, or spotlight on private secret relationships of some sort that are happening. And some emotional escalations there. But on another level, your intuition will increase tremendously, very powerfully, like remarkable, like in your dreams. The 12th house rules dreams. You might have in your dreams some insights in regards to how to rebalance your subconscious, in regards to how to rebalance um, your life in some way, and you can something secret, because 12 house very much connected to secret, can come to the surface, and some deep realization on a deep spiritual psychological level can happen as well, because we put a spotlight in your subconscious. So something might be from your childhood, from a past lifetime or memory that you buried, can come to the surface that relieves you or releases you from certain emotional burden, or from certain repeating a pattern, subconscious pattern of some sort. But it's good time for cutting cords of some sort, especially with relationship. Libra is connected to relationships after the full moon in particular, to cut cords. Say you're still craving for a lover you had years ago, and you still desire them, or you still are obsessed with them, or can't forgive them. Perfect time to cut cords, because the moon is the last degree, so it's the final karma. It's a very karmic degree, 29 degrees, so final, and it has come to an end. It cannot continue anymore. And but it's something that has ended already. It's a relationship, it's a contract, it's agreement, but something that you're still bitter about, or you haven't been able to overcome, or there is still some lingering influences, emotionally, psychologically, towards an old relationship, or even a past life relationship of some sort, that this full moon can illuminate what are those inner demons, that or those, that you thought that you probably removed everything, but there's still some left, and it can help put light on those and release you suddenly Uranus to cut the cords. Uranus is there. Also, it can put the spotlight on addictive patterns and behaviors for you, and help to rebalance it, to help to bring you some balance there, and to make you take some radical changes and actions with Uranus in regards to that. It's a good time to take off, to remove any kind of addictions and stuff like that. All right, if you're Sagittarius, this is happening in your 11th house, the full moon, guys. So it's very much about putting the spotlight on your friendships, on your social networking connections, even on gains. So they can be very busy development, Sagittarius, on a lot of and it's happening for a second month for you. So like a community very strong, or reaching wider audiences, or being recognized by a larger group of people. This is what can happen. Seeing results there, if you've been trying to reach wider audiences, or more clients, or wider network of people, or to organize parties, or large connections, or get together with friends, now it can culminate, now it can happen. Or if you've been working on some social economic goal, because 11th house is gains, profits, well, now there can be more abundance, because full moon is about abundance of it. But also this full moon will show you if there is some imbalance in regards to those areas, because it's in Libra. So is there an imbalance in your gains. Are you maybe not gaining enough? Maybe you're not making enough abundance, in your life. You're putting too much, but you're not receiving. So there is some imbalance, and Uranus wants to push you towards sudden realizations and to see the other side and to reprogram those patterns. And by the way, Natalia is making great webinar in regards to that abundance, reprogramming the mind in regards to abundance. It's $149, but it's $99 for the next 2 weeks, I think. You have to check. And she's doing it in May under the influence still of this full moon, this Libra full moon that affects your 11th house of gains and wealth. But also it can show you if something is unfair in your friendships. Maybe you've been giving too much and not receiving enough. Maybe you think your friends are good, but they are just sucking out all your energy or resources or whatever it is. Or, maybe some collaboration or friendship, it needs to be, or maybe even a friend might confront you and say, listen, I'm always the one who contacts you and you never stay in touch, and this is not fair. So something about fairness and equality will come in regards to your connections, your social environment, your friendships, and gains and earnings as well. You might feel like it's not fair how much you're earning for the amount of effort you're putting, and you might actually act out and escalate because Uranus makes us act rashly. But maybe it's high time that you do something about it. But also, as I said, it's on the positive level. You can be completing some project, long-term project or wish, because the 11th house is the house of dreams fulfilling and granting you a wish. So fulfilling a wish or a dream, having the results of it and seeing those results in regards to it now. Okay, if you're Capricorn, it is happening in your 10th house. The full moon is illuminating your social status in your career. So you might be completing some career project, especially one concerning it's about perfection. The Chitra constellation is the bright one, the beautiful one, is very auspicious. So there might be the completion of some project that makes you shine in some way, and project that is especially connected to art, to design, to something beautiful, to constructing, designing something. But it doesn't have to be. If it's in your 10th house, it's your career, and it can even bring some recognition in regards to your reputation or in regards to your career now, the spotlight to be on you. But it also asks you again to reevaluate matters regarding to your career. Almost like some projects you started over the last few months, it's now they're going to start showing their results. And if the results are not satisfactory, it makes you try and reevaluate. Libra is about evaluating, and maybe take a different path or alternative method. Maybe discuss with people. Libra is about communicate, discuss how to make it better, how to make it your career more productive. Maybe, redo your visions for your career in some way as well. On another level, if something is out of balance with authority figures, father figures, parents, it can escalate now. Maybe a boss is pushing you too much, or maybe a boss is not involved too much and you've been asking for feedback, but they're detached and you're like, you're not involved enough. Something. If there's something, or maybe you realize you've been working too much. You realize that you've been not putting enough energy into certain project, and of course your career is suffering, but something which is out of balance there is required now can suddenly change. You can get sudden realizations and awakening about what is out of balance, too much, too little, and you're given a chance that month to rebalance it again. But there's a lot of focus there on that career reputation. Okay, if you're Aquarius, the full moon is happening in your 9th house, a second full moon in your 9th house. Our belief systems have been under a lot of focus for us. It's a second month, guys. And, you can basically, there is a strong focus there on, because it's the sign of Libra, is it fair morally? You're kind of almost examining on an emotional level. You can feel that something is morally unfair, because 9th house is morality, 9th house is ethics, and you might be very strongly involved and emotionally involved in a situation that you consider a situation that you fight for fairness for someone on a philosophical level, on a principle, because 9th house are also your opinions of others, and and there's a lot of focus there that there is communications and discussions about what is fair, what is moral, what is ethical for both sides. But also you're putting a focus on your belief systems. Are they balanced, out of balance? You're reevaluating them. Libra evaluates, measures. Is this belief system the right one? And a lot of you might feel like they're in their head a lot, quite philosophical those days, and that they're examining their own beliefs and other people's belief, and assessing them, changing something. But there is this kind of something is forming in your head. It's like a fruit ripening of some philosophical, ideological belief, or some goals for the future, because the ninth house is our the future, our ideals for the future, our ideals, how to live our life, our belief systems, our, some people even do their life book with 12 goals, how you perceive 12 areas of your life to be the perfect version of 12 areas of your life. So a lot of you are working on some things. They might be like doing journals or trying to work on your vision for the future. You're putting a lot of emotion there, a lot of focus. And if something is, you're readjusting those plans in your head. It can also put a lot of focus on coaching, on teaching, some important developments in regards, if you're a coach, if you're a teacher, or to go to crash courses, nine houses, crash courses, or courses connected to changing your thinking, changing your belief systems, changing your outlook towards the world. And it can happen suddenly. There can be a sudden shift in your consciousness, because the full moon that illuminates and puts focus there in a lot of developments with your perception of the world, your vision of the future, your beliefs about yourself and what is possible. It's shifting, and it's been happening for a month already, and it continues. And there is like powerful intuitive insights that you're gathering right now in regards to those matters. And those of you who are in university, it can be a lot of focus on university, on degrees, on completing something connected with education or courses, taking such courses, or completing matters connected to import, export, or foreign travel, arranging things. I'm Aquarius. I'm actually arranging travels. We're moving to Europe and all of those things. So exactly that month will be so much focus on ninth house, moving, foreign countries, teaching, and we're doing so many webinars and crash courses. By the way, if you haven't taken your seat in our course with Victor 10 weeks, it's great time, Aquarius, for learning when the full moon, second full moon in the ninth house, especially astrology, because opposition Uranus, and it's 50% off. And also Natalia is doing a lot of crash courses on reprogramming your mind, on sex, on money, on relationships, in basically for the whole month after the full moon in Libra, which is now ninth house. If something can shift our mind now, taking such courses is perfect. I'm not saying take our courses. Of course, they're the best out there, of course. But listen to such things, read such things, subscribe to some channel that gives you insights and that shifts your thinking about, especially in matters like relationships, fairness, and matters of business, liberal rules, business relationships, um, collaboration, all those things. So anything like that will totally reprogram your mind. Okay, and if you're Pisces, it's happening the full moon is happening in Libra, again, the second one in your eighth house. Like, you're asked for another month to pay attention to your resources, mutual resources with your partner. If something is not good there, to rebalance it. Maybe you're giving too much, or maybe your partner is not contributing enough, or maybe you realize that you give too much support, or maybe you're not giving enough. Maybe you're the one who is giving less support to a business relationship, or client, or your marriage partner, or boyfriend or girlfriend. Matters like that will be raised to the surface. Or maybe you will be dissatisfied with something and see the inequality, then you want to talk about those things and discuss them. And it's the right thing to do currently. And it can escalate some arguments about money and stuff like that. You can feel very emotional. Maybe someone owes you money, eighth house, and you get very emotional and you kind of write to them an angry email. Uranus gets you all wrapped up. But at the same time, so you have an opportunity to rebalance those things, to make them more, and your taxes and your resources and your insurances, inheritances, and give and take in a relationship as well. But also, it can indicate that something comes to a conclusion, to a fruition. So, say money is owed to you from someone, and you can finally receive it because the full moon is very auspicious, it's considered. And because Uranus triggers it, it can be suddenly that you receive money that you haven't, you know, that you're supposed to receive before, or suddenly you receive something from another person, but you receive something manifest through the help of others. So you can say you've been trying to complete some project, but you can't, and then suddenly appears the right resources from another place and they help you. So ask for help now. You might be surprised that you might suddenly receive help with this Uranus influence there. Uranus opposing the full moon in your eighth house. Also, there can be sudden realizations in regards to blockages in your intimate life or sex life, because, and if there is some imbalance there sexually, whether too much sex, too little, no intimacy, or fear of sharing, fear of opening yourself emotionally or sexually to another person, this woman will really bring those issues to the surface, but it will also introduce you an opportunity to suddenly radically shift something in respects to that, to suddenly radically shift your outlook, your perspective there, and to rebalance it somehow, because Uranus gives that surprise element through the mind, through sudden realizations. And by the way, if you have any such issues, Natalia is doing a 30% off on a webinar that she'll be doing after the full moon on sex, how to unblock sex. There'll be tantra advices. There'll be after sex webinar with her, sex workshop. I did it live though with her. I had a lot of sex blockages because I considered it something dirty. I was raised like that in a very Christian, and like sex is wrong. It's like, ooh, serious matter. So I totally got unblocked there, and all those, because sexual energy is creative energy. This is when everything boomed, my business, my ideas. So having a sexual energy healthy and not too extreme, like just all you do is think about that, not the other extreme, totally blocked. Healthy and balance is very important for what you can receive from the universe. The eighth house is where you receive from others, the ability to deep bonding, for intimacy. You're going to have some deep realizations about those matters, and focus on those. And there might be some dissatisfaction that you're trying to rebalance, but this is important topic for you guys. And so, yeah, you can check out that webinar as well, if you're that workshop, if you want to work on that, to awaken that sexual energy or to make it healthy. So anyway, this is for all of you guys. Amazing, interesting webinars. So aligned with this full moon in Libra, full moon giving us realizations, giving us sudden awareness because of the opposition with Uranus. We're doing great webinars of knowledge, of uh, breaking old patterns, of shifting your consciousness and perspective, seeing the other side of the coin. So thank you again for all your beautiful wishes for my birthday. You've been amazing, guys. I mean, like every day, the first thing when I wake up, and I say, thank you, God, that I'm alive, that my family is alive. And thank you, God, for all the wonderful people you send to watch my videos, that you send to this community, and even the people that I introduced to my channel. And even, Natalia, she said, you have the most amazing viewers ever, because she's worked with people around the world, with clients, with viewers. She has the millions of views in Russian and Bulgarian. And but she says, you've created such a community. She said, like everyone, like 99.9% is aware, is asks intelligent questions, are very kind, are polite people that she says, I can feel they won't change, they're there. She says most other communities that she participated, there is always so much like bitterness and hatredness. So it's, I'm so grateful. I don't know how we've combined and come together in this community in the astrology astrolabe community in particular. I guess likes attracts likes, so we're all wonderful people here. The not so wonderful ones, they can't stand us and they leave sooner or later. So thank you on my birthday, exactly. Thank you for for creating such an amazing channel together with me. For thank you for you're my inspiration. You're the reason I do all those videos. You're the reasons I develop my even I grow with you constantly, because if it's not for you, because I wake up and I say, what can I do for my amazing viewers? I want to bring them something new. And because of that, I think I meditate, I sit in the shower for 20 minutes and just think what I'm going to do. Or I carry my baby around and I think while I'm putting them to sleep, and I think, what wisdom should I bring? And you're pushing me to study, to learn. Because of you, I'm learning such amazing things. And because of you, I'm developing. And because of your continuous support, I keep bringing, and I'll continue to bring more and more knowledge that is quite different, that is quite eclectic and unique, and that is sometimes even channeled, which I never thought I was psychic, but now I no longer think these are my ideas. I mean, I come to the right books, to the right information, and then I just they just start coming. They flood, So whoever is there helping me, I think it's our collective consciousness and your love towards me and your focus towards me. I want to thank you on my birthday, guys, because you're the reason this is all flowing. You're the reason that God and the universe dispenses this knowledge towards me. I'm so grateful that I can be this channel, and I'm so grateful if I can open your minds in some way to be also open to all different knowledge and wisdom and systems, and to learn how to syncretize it, and how to, I don't know if I just invented this word, but how to um, tap into different areas of knowledge and combine them and always reach the same conclusions. Anyway, thank you that you've been with me on this journey of self-growth. um, Hopefully I've helped some of you, but mostly you have helped me. That's what I was my message for you on this full moon in Libra video. And the full moon in Libra is about acknowledging what others bring to you and acknowledging what you bring. So I know that I'm not being humble, but we have equal share role. It's not just me, it's not just you, we're both. You inspire me, you feed me, you kind of with your support and love. Because of you, I'm doing all of this, and at the same time I'm bringing those things to you. So it's about balance. So thank you, I love you. Libra is about love. So on this full moon in Libra, who are you going to show your love to? Who are you going to show your appreciation for? Who are you going to say thank you to? And I want to say thank you on my 38th birthday to all the amazing people in my life. First of you, then all my teachers, all the amazing people that have helped me. My best friend that uh, 8 years ago, when I had no money even to buy an astrology software, she gave me money to buy astrology software. She gave me money to start that. So all the people that have been here on this journey throughout with me, thank you. We've made it. We're one big community now. We will continue to grow, and I'll continue. Hopefully in 40 years you'll still see me there with a trembling voice and with even deep astrology insights, if that's possible. And we'll all grow together. No, we'll all mature together and blossom together, and we'll all reach happiness together, because the ultimate journey of life is to grow towards happiness. Because what is it? It's happiness and love. If the more we live, the more miserable we become, then we're doing something fundamentally wrong. And the universe is telling us, I want you to be happy. That's why I keep punishing you, because you're going away, running away from your happiness. So let's I'm grateful that you're part of this journey with me, and we'll support each other without pointing fingers to each other. This community is to support each other, to help each other with this knowledge, to be balanced, to be happy, to love. Thank you so much.